Hi, this is Charlie giving you Friday's market commentary. It is just coming up to 10 past 8 in the morning, so that's US time down here. And so well, I've just been looking through the markets, not found anything just yet. But the Euro Yen's had a bit of a poke up here. We're on a 15-minute time frame here at the moment. It's had a bit of a move up here overnight and this morning. I'm just looking for it to pull back into its 15-minute bands here. It'd also be with the 200 MA, and I think there's a pivot down there as well. So I'm just going to see if it can pull back down to there, and we'll see if we can get a trade. So it looks like it's going to come in somewhere around about 131.75. So it's only not far away from where we currently are. There's not a very big range at the moment. So that's what I'm going to look for. So we'll go into the commentary as well during today's update. But for now, I'm just going to press pause and wait and see if we're going to get this. If this is going to indeed come down to the band, see if we can get a bit of a band play going. Okay, so I've pressed play again because I'm just waiting to see if we're going to nip down here. And just as I've probably pressed play, it'll probably just go and pause because it seemed like it was, it's on its way. But just waiting for this band play to set up. And the Euro Yen does have some potential today, so that's obviously if it doesn't roll over. The one thing that's the caveat is it may want to go down and visit its hourly 50 MA. If I take you to an hourly chart, sorry, it's not its hourly, it's its 4 hourly, so let's take us to our 4 hour time frame. Oh, it's not showing us on this chart. Okay, on eSignal, on my other charting package, it's not quite hit that 4 hourly chart time frame yet on the MA. So different charting packages can sometimes their moving averages can be slightly adrift from each other. So that is a potential there. But other than that, if it doesn't want to do that, then this may not be a bad area to execute. So we're just going to see if I can get if it's going to come down and hit that level. So I'll press pause again while I'm waiting. Okay, so we're getting closer, so we're going to get a finger on the trigger. It's not going to require too big a stop, so I'm just going to see if we can get down there, and it's not going to require much of a stop, so we'll see if we can get there. And it's very nearly there, so let's just see if it's going to hit, and then we'll execute. We'll get the usual 4 entries off, and then put the stop down around about 60 will probably be enough. So it's not going to be a risk of about £600 or £700, I think, so on that. So very nearly there we go. So let's start to get these in. So that's one. If I can get them in. I've got one in so far. I want to make sure I get the right price. So see if we can get back down into the 73s. So I've only got one in so far. It's just there we go. There's another one. And if we can get there we go. That's 3. And there's 4. Right, okay, so I've got the 4 entries off, so I shall bring as usual, bring my account over so you can see those entries. I've just put them in, so we've got them in at 73, 73.4, 72.2, 73.1. Right, I'll just get the stops in place. We can do it off screen because it's just going to take up too much of the screen. So I'll just get those in place. So I'm going to put my initial stop down here at 60. Let's give it enough. So, and I'll press pause as while I'm doing that. Okay, so it looks like we're coming up to that first target, so I'm going to be taking those first half off. Just want to check the 5-minute chart, so I wanted to take some off actually at the 5-minute band. So there we go. Got a couple more pips to go if it can just do that. So we're on about 83 or so on here, I should think. So if it can just get up to that 5-minute band, which is just ahead of the 15-minute band, then I'll take those couple off, the first half of the position off. So see if we can get there. So I think we're about 83s, and I'll be taking these off. See, as soon as I press play, it always then just wants to play around, and then I'll press pause, and then it'll go up again. It plays this game with me when I do these video recordings on a Friday. Okay, so let's just give it a second, otherwise I'll have to press pause, because otherwise it takes a long time sometimes, which is why when you're waiting when you're doing recordings. So now it's backing off again. Let's just give it another few seconds because it's blipping around. You could do it in a second or two, but you know what I'm looking for anyway, so I'm going to have to press pause and see if we can get it. Now it's just backed off again. Okay, I'll press pause again. I'll just press play again because it looks like it's getting close again, and then just as I press play so always this game, it plays with me. It just knows when I'm pressing the record button, really. So we're very close. We're just like I say, a smidgen away. Looks like the 5-minute chart's about to. Oh, we go. So 83.5 and 83.3, and the reason I've taken those two there just ahead of this is it's 8:24 a.m. and you're going to see any second. Let's have a look. We've got 30 seconds to go, and this band's going to start to move down. So sometimes this happens where it can just get to close to the band, and it holds there, and then in the next 5 minute bar this band comes down, and you think, oh, you could have actually taken it there just ahead of the band, and actually hits it on the next bar but at a lower level. So we've banked half of the position, so we've got half the position still there you go. See what I mean? See, now it's changed, and it's not actually didn't actually go any higher, and yet the band's come down. So, but anyway, so we've hit half. So let's go back out to the 15-minute time frame. Oh no, we haven't quite hit the 15-minute band, as you can see. So if we can get to the 15-minute band, I'll take one off. Then we'll just see if we can get a runner for the day. So that's what I'm going to try. That's what I'm trying to do. I need to move my stop up, so I'll move my stop up to the low. I won't move it up to absolute break even, although I think we weren't far off of the absolute low anyway. From where my entry was pretty good this morning there by looks of things. But so if it can get to the upper band, I'll take one off, and then just see if we can get a bit of a runner going. Or actually, just looking at the chart, let's have a look here. I could actually just say, actually, I'll take one off just above that, about 90 actually, just as we come into these prior highs. So I'll see if we can get a bit of an overrun of that band, and then see if we can get a runner going. So actually just look for a little bit more. And the reason I've done that is there's an old extreme by looks of things up on the 5 minute chart, what we call an extreme. So if we can get to that or closer to that, so up into the upper 80s would be good, and then see if we can get a run. So just a bit of an overshoot. I'm just looking for a bit of an overrun through this band if we can get it, and take one off. So and then so it's just hit the band now. So see if we can just poke through it. And then just move my stop up, and away we go. So the reason for newer watchers, the reason we take some off when we're coming up to bands is because sometimes the price will just literally get to the upper band, it's done its job, and it can then just back off and roll over. So that's why we do that. And so always get some locked in, and then see if you can get a runner with the remainder. So that's the idea. So there we go, which looks like we're about to do just overrun there. We hit 86. But just playing around a little bit, so we'll start moving the stop up actually, so we can do that. So let's move these stops. So we're looking at around about 71. Oops, 71 by looks of things. Yeah, and my entries were at what, 73. So I'd take a 2 pip loss on these two. So that's fine, obviously, because we'd have an overall profit anyway. So let's get the other one up. Okay, all right. Well, it's hit the upper band. It's not poked through it, so I could have just taken another portion off there when we hit the upper band, but just seeing if we can get just a little bit more. So sometimes you can be a little bit greedy, and it doesn't necessarily work out, and it could come all the way down now. But I've moved my stop up to these lows, so we're just going to see what happens. So I'm going to press pause, and what I'll do is I'll just put a little limit order in actually, because I've got to go and get myself ready. So I'll put a limit order in about 87. And just see if that gets hit, and then we'll take it from there and see if this is going to actually get a runner going today, and see if we can get a few more pips out of that. That's if it can do that. So I'm just going to put a limit order in. So let's do that. Hopefully you can see all this on my screen. There's the stop and there's the limit. So let's put this limit order in at, well, not 132.50 obviously, 131.870. Okay. So I've put the limit order in there, so I've got my deal tickets open, but if that limit order gets hit, then obviously, hopefully you can see, you can't quite see that, can you, off screen? There's my limit orders there. So if that gets hit, then one of these will disappear, and then we'll just be left with one last portion of the position on our trade. So remember, I have to do these positions in 4 increments, because I can't just put one position in and then start taking bits off. It's just the way my broker works. It's just a bit antiquated like that. So it just doesn't work that way. So I can't just do that. So what I have to do is split what I would otherwise do is a single position into 4, so that I can do exactly what we've done here and just taking bits off. So that's why I have to do smaller bits. Here we go. It looks like we've probably hit that. Yeah, there we go. So it's just hit my limit. So not bad so far. So, and now it's a case of saying, well, okay, well, where are we actually going to go to? I was talking in our trading room yesterday, that I saw potential for today with the euro yen. So, so far so good. I'll probably move my stop up. Let's move the stop up to absolute break even. So let's just do that now. So, absolute break even, as you can see, if I move this right across. Remember, my entry was at 73. So I can move my stop up to 73. Well, it'd actually be 74 in order to get stopped out there, but I'll leave it at 73, otherwise it'd be too tight. So where are we actually looking for? So it's just to keep that off for now. Really, we've got a daily R1 right up at 132.15, so right up about here on the chart. So I'll put a limit order in at 132.15, and then we've got yesterday's high at 132.19. So I'm happy enough to put a limit order in at 132.15. So let's just do that. And that will be the runner, and I think it could probably go beyond that, but I think that would do. So 132.150, and we'll just see what happens. Now, obviously, if this comes back down, I can't lose on the trade. It'll just mean that if it comes back down and stops me out, then it just means that I will be. It'll come down to, well, take 180 quid off of what we're currently on. So we'll still end up with around about 300 and something pounds, 330 pounds or so. If it pulls back, which is okay for the first trade of the day. And that's the thing when it comes to trading, is that you get your first elements off to protect the trade once you're in that position where you can do that, and then you're in with a free ride, so to speak. And so that's the idea here. And then you just try and get that bit of a runner going with the second portions of the trade. So you get your first portions off to protect it once it's into a profitable position, and then see if you can get that bit of a runner. So if we get that runner, then on that final portion of the trade, if it was to run, then you're talking about from 131.73 to 132.15. It's 40 pips on the final run, so can actually amount to a reasonable amount. But we're just gonna have to see what happens now, and so limit orders in, and we'll just see. Let's come up into these, if I take this back to a 5-minute chart, let's come up into these prior highs, so it could struggle with that. And it's more than possible that it wants to come all the way back down again, but let's hope not. Hopefully that can remain up there and then push on through. And if that's the case, then we should have a half decent trade on our hands there. What we'll do actually is, I said I was going to go and get ready, but let's go to the daily charts and have a quick look through these on the daily charts, because let's start off with the euro yen here. As we can see, it's just consolidated for a long time, and so it's still playing within this whole range here. So what can we say about it at the moment? Well, really, if it can break up towards the upper end of these highs, then we've got a breakout coming. So that's what I'd say with the euro yen, and that's why I was keen to trade this today, because when I was looking at the 4-hour and hourly charts yesterday, I was thinking, well, actually, it's consolidated. That's all it's done on the hourly charts. If I zoom out slightly, all we're doing is consolidating. So the potential, when I was looking at this yesterday, is, well, it's not really pulled back at all. This could, and the 4-hour momentum charts were looking okay, this could actually come back up. So good potential there. So now I've got my limit order in just at 132.15, and of course it could have a real run. But even at 132.15, it's a nice run for that trade. So I'm happy enough to exit there. But I do think that ultimately it could go further, and I'll just look for other opportunities to get in there. So that's that one to start off with. Let's go back out to the daily charts. Now, what's interesting has come to the euro dollar, and then we'll work our way to the indices. Is we need to look at oil as well, don't we? So we look at euro dollar on the dailies. Now, yesterday it had a nice poke up yesterday intraday, and then it's put in this like an inverted doji. So we're going to watch out for today. Now I'm recording this. What's it still on? It's 8:30 at the moment, but we really need to keep our eye out on this one, because we've put an inverted hammer, or doji, whatever you want to call it, and sometimes we get an inverted hammer. It could be a bottoming signal, so we could go lower intraday. But if we came back up and did a hammer, then that's one of our Shanghai duo patterns, and I would look for an up move going into the early part of next week for a bounce. So we'll just see how this is going to play itself out. So a second day of a reversal pattern, could be a hammer or another doji or a spinning top, anything like that. And then for the early part of next week, I'd be looking for a bounce, probably up to the upper bands here, the white line here. So that's what I'd be looking for the euro dollar if it does that. But at the moment, it's still pretty weak. It's not being able to sustain and maintain any of that traction that it had yesterday, and just sold off again late last night. So not the best there for the euro dollar at the moment, but still the potential. Once you start seeing inverted hammers, or inverted dojis, then you have to be a little bit wary there that maybe a short-term reversal is coming into play. Now, much like the pound, actually, now the pound has almost done that in that it's done a doji and an inverted hammer. So it's done that over the last couple of days. So really, again, the pound's that little bit stronger than the euro. So the potential for the pound, if it can get some traction going on the intraday charts, which it hasn't just yet, but if it can, then a run up to its upper band and maybe the daily 50 here would not be out of the question. It's broken the channel. Kim talked about this on Wednesday. Broken that lovely trend channel there. So overall, it looks like there's more downside to come, but there could be a little bounce here if it can gain some traction. At the moment, if we come to the hourly charts, this is what's happened since yesterday. I had a lovely push up yesterday, then gave it back last night and into the early hours of this morning. So this is an hourly time frame. So it's got a lot of work now to push this back up. So at the moment, it's got a lot of work to do, but we'll just see what happens. But overall, weak and more downside to come on these currencies, but you have to be aware of any bounces that may come along. Now let's have a look at now the dollar yen's obviously an interesting one as well, because just yesterday I actually had a short on the dollar yen yesterday, believe it or not, intraday, and it was nice 40 pipper. So although I got stopped out on the remainder at break even, so because it came back up again. So if we go to an intraday chart of the dollar yen, managed to catch a nice move down here. This is an hourly chart, all the way down to down into this zone down here, then moved our stops down, and then it came back up overnight. So at the moment, again, dollar yen, well, you can't deny that it's not been going up. It put in two dojis, you see, back to back. So I'm a little bit wary of it at the moment, of whether it's going to break out and have much of a breakout or not. But I'll always follow where the price action is and take it on board what it's trying to say to us. So at the moment, warning signs up there. We have had a couple of daily dojis, so we've got to be a little bit wary. And if we just have another small range day today, then I would then be looking for shorts going into the early part of next week for the dollar yen, which would couple up quite nicely with shorts on the dollar yen and longs on cable and euro dollar. So that would be about right. Now let's go to the daily charts of oil, because remember last week I was saying oil was looking like it could have a breakout imminently. So where was that? About here last week I was talking about that. So where are we now? This was Thursday's candle. Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. So I was recording this on this day here. I said, look, if we can get up into this 97s to 98 zone, then we've really got a good potential there. And I still think that's the case. So we've pulled back a little bit, but that's fine. And I just think this is building for a run. So I think if you look at the round about 97 or so, then if we get to there, then we should have a very fast run to 98, and then we'll see if we can get the breakout from there. But I think you've definitely got to keep your eye on oil if you're an oil trader, because I do think that breakout is building and it's coming. So and lastly, we need to go to the S&P and the FTSE. S&P just had a down day yesterday. I'm just going to have a look at the futures charts here off screen at the moment. They're just holding at the moment, roughly where they closed yesterday, but it's had that down day. Does it really mean much? Not really. Maybe it'll want to come back into the lower bands to test the bands. That could take a couple of days or so. It may even do it in a day. But if we just extend the channel, so it's still playing within this channel. That's the main thing to worry about. I say worry about, but it's the main thing to consider is the channel there. It's not got to the upper end of the channel, and it's not obviously it's right slap bang in the middle really at the moment. So it's difficult to call at the moment on the S&P, but trend remains up, and really it's anyone's guess where that one's going to go. Is it going to go up to the upper channel, or is it going to pull back? It's had a very good run here, so it could pull back. Let's have a look at the McClellan oscillator. No, there's nothing on that. So I can't really say much more about that at the moment, other than it'd be nice to see it come down, at least test the lower band. It's had a good run outside of it, and it's just had that down day there yesterday. Let's see if it can come to the lower band. So at the moment that's around about 1640. If it does start to come down, then that's where I'd look for on that one. And let's go to the FTSE lastly on these. There we go. FTSE similar. It's had a couple of reversal candles now for the last couple of days. So again, after such a good run, then we could see it just want to pull back. Ultimately, we've got 65.50 would be a nice zone for it to pull back to at some stage, but don't know if that's going to happen just yet. I think in the first instance, just to pull back to the lower band would be nice to see, which is currently around about 6640. So I put a target of around about 6640 for the FTSE at the moment. Obviously, it's not very far away from those all-time highs, and I think ultimately it's going to go to break those. I think I mentioned that last week, and so I think that it's baked in really that it's going to want to go to those. Just a case of in the very short term on the daily charts whether it wants to pull back or whether it's just going to keep on going. So very difficult to call at the moment, but the easy call is to say it's going to want to go up for those all-time highs. So, but in the very short term, on the daily charts, it may just want to pull back into the bands. Right, let's press pause and come back to this chart. Let's go back to the euro yen and see what it's up to. I don't think it's done anything on the 5-minute chart. Let's take it to the 15-minute chart, and we'll just see what's going to happen here, and then this will be the final wrap. So I'll press pause now. I'm going to get ready. Just back, so I've just finally got ready, and you can see it's been we punched up to 132.05 even, just pulled back to 87 at the moment. Nothing too much has changed, so hopefully it's going to be able to continue going up higher today. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to move my stop up to 75 just to make sure I've definitely got that locked in. At my entries covered. So my entry was at 73, as you can see here on this final position. There you go. But if I keep my stop at 73, it'd actually stop me out at 72. So let's move it up to 75. So properly covered there. Okay. But what I'm actually going to do, let's just get rid of that. We don't need that. Let's bring the order ticket over, because what I'm going to do is potentially trade some more and put some more entries in. Let's move that off at the moment. Potentially put some more entries in if the right setup comes along. So forget the chance this morning. I put some smaller entries in, because what we don't want to do is to give back everything, go back to into minus territory, considering you're up a decent amount. So, but if the potential arises, if it can happen, then I'll put a couple of smaller entries in. So I've reduced my lot size down to 50,000 lots as opposed to, or say 50,000 lots, 50,000 size transaction size as opposed to 150,000 per unit. And if a setup comes along that I think, okay, yeah, I can now build a position, then I'll build that position, and so those ones we can really see if we can get a runner for to head up into the 132.50 zone, potentially. So, but it depends on whether we can find an entry or not. So for now, it's just a case of well, I'll just press pause. It's sort of 22 minutes already, so I don't want to take too much time today. So I'll press pause. We'll come back to it as. Just thought I'd come back to this. It's now, what time is it? 10:37, and put that limit order in up there, but it never quite got there. I thought it was going to maybe get up there earlier on. Let's have a look here. So we had that limit order up at 132.15. It's not got there yet, and as you can see, we've just coming down now. I've moved my stop up, as you can see. Oh, sorry, it's not there. You see my stop's at 81, which means it would have to go below 81 on the offer, on the ask, in order to stop me. So it's got very close, as you can see on the chart there, but not quite. But it looks like it possibly is going to come down and stop me out. But that's fine, and that's what you get with, and I've talked about this time and time again on these video updates, if you try and run a trade, they're the cream, and when they do run for you, and if they don't, a lot of the time, probably 6 to 7 times out of 10, they won't, and the market will just roll back over, and that's fine, and you just take your bread and butter. And then on the times when they run for you, that's when you make your extra. So if that's the case, it looks like it's coming down. It looks like it's probably going to get there. Anyway, so but that's fine. And so not a bad little morning there this morning. Could have taken more out of it if I wanted to be greedy and just take the profits. And sometimes you do. Sometimes you just see something, you say, actually, that's enough. But I did see the potential for the euro yen to go higher today. And maybe it's still going to get there. So I'll press pause for now and we'll just see what's going to happen. It's just playing around. It just tested this 5-minute 50. It's not quite hit my stop, as you can see yet. But it's getting very close. So we'll just see whether that's going to get hit or whether ultimately it's going to come up. I suspect if we do come up again, that may be the opportunity where I can put an order in to buy. If we come back up to this 132.05 area, then I'll probably come back on and buy up at that zone if it was to. But I suspect for now, maybe it's going to. You don't know. It's just a 5-minute 50 test at the moment. Maybe that's it, and I've just got away with it. We'll have to see, but we'll see. So I'll press pause for now. Right, so what I'm going to do here, it's still sitting around, still not quite got down to the stop yet. I'm actually going to put an order in. I said I was going to put smaller trades in, so let's put an order in. Just in case it comes, I've got to pop out, so I'm going to put an order in at 132.05 and see if it gets there and see if it blasts through. I don't know if it will do or not, but let's put it in anyway. So it'll be a buy stop. 132.05. Let's put a stop in against it. It's only a smaller trade, so we'll put it in at 82. Let's put it in 131.82, 131.820, and we'll put that one in. We'll just see if it goes. I mean, obviously there's always a potential that it may just want to come up, hit those levels again, and then roll over again. But we'll just see if it does go. Then it could just get me that extra little 50,000 half lot portion in, where we can get a run up to that 132.50 zone. So if it can do that, I don't know at the moment. We've obviously backed off, but then that's just natural course of trading. Prices back off and do pullbacks and such like. So it's just a case and seeing whether that's going to happen. But anyway, I've got to pop out, and so I'll be back and see what happens at that point. So I'll press pause. Okay, just back, and as we can see, it got up to what? Oh, it got close to my my order there at 132.0 whatever. My order was in at 132.5. Actually, better cancel that order, anyway, because we've rolled over now. It's not what I'm looking for. So as it's not got up there, let's get rid of that order. Cancel. Okay, that's gone. Let's go back to positions. So not too bad this morning. 405.6 pounds there, as you can see on the trades. It closed out the final one at 131.80. So that's that. I haven't got time to put any more in. It's what, 11:30 now. So, and the way it's looking, actually, this could really roll over now. I was looking for dollar yen down today, and obviously it was up earlier on this morning. And if we go to the dollar yen, we can see that's really rolling over. So maybe that's my analysis is going to ring through for that, which would also then mean euro dollar probably up, which obviously it is going up so far on the 5-minute chart, and the same with the pound as well. So looks like overall they're looking right. But this morning I went where the momentum was, and so that was the right thing to do, to make a few pounds there. And this afternoon I'll be doing a similar thing, most likely. So, oh yeah, one thing just thought I'd bring to your attention, because we haven't looked at this for ages. The website's changed on Easy Trader, so if you haven't already been on it, have a look around. There's still got some content on and stuff. It's all squashed up here at the moment, but there's all sorts of bits and pieces going on. You can sign up to the video. Oh, you already signed up to the video updates, but you've even got a little tweets on there now as well. You've got today's Friday quote of the day. It's just gone up earlier on that I put up. I do the Friday quotes, and it's the same with that's our main page. Then if you go to Facebook, you can like us on Facebook. So if you just type in Easy Trader, and you'll find us on Facebook. We haven't done anything with it. We set it up last year and never really done much, but we have put a load of stuff on there now. So we've put on some photographs and all the bits and pieces on there, so you can have a look at us on Facebook as well, with all of our bits and pieces and photos and stuff on there. So on that note, I shall leave you to it. Have a fabulous weekend, and be back in touch next week.